Okay, so I want to welcome everyone to part two of the ARC Ancestral Renewal and Communication series. And as I stated before, part two is where you begin to learn about what creating a shrine. Well, you will create a shrine. You'll learn how to create the shrine. You'll learn how to work the shrine, meaning working the shrine means you'll learn how to perform certain rituals to get certain things done in front of your shrine or with your shrine. You learn the maintenance of your shrine, and maintenance of the shrine is how to maintain your shrine, through the course of the year. And so there's certain things you do to maintain your shrine, of course. And then there's a big one, it's not really big, but there's a major maintenance once a year that you have to do for your shrine. And so I'll teach you how to do all those things. We will discuss other things about your shrine, such as who else is in your shrine outside of your ancestors? Because there are other things in your shrine outside of your ancestors, and those are the spirits that walk with you. They also go into your shrine because they are technically a part of your bloodline. They're part of your lineage. And so they are also in your shrine. So they're very important. And so we'll take a look at who they are. So you'll get an opportunity to see who those particular spirits are that walk in your family, which means that you'll get to know what they look like because they'll show themselves to some of you. You'll get an opportunity to see or to know what purpose they serve, meaning how can you use them, what attributes they have, how are they there to serve you, and what their needs are. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get an opportunity to see where you're active. Let me see. I'm going to do active this time. I'll see how it goes. We may get a chance to see where you're active. Hey, Jaribu, may get a chance to see where your active family shrine is. So you may get a chance to see that. Did we do that? Did we do that in the last class? No, we didn't do that.
What does that mean?
We did. We did that.
In the last class?
Mm-hmm.
No.
We looked at the shrine?
What?
We looked at
our class.
The last shrine class you had.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking about part one. I was like, we did that? Shoot.
Oh, no, not part one.
Y'all must have been on it. I started talking about that. Shoot. Y'all was way ahead of the curve. Okay. So you'll get an opportunity to see where your family shrine is located. So we'll look to see where the active shrine is, or if there are any active ones, and actually it'll be like a primary active shrine.
You mean like country or?
If you may see the country, but you'll actually see the shrine itself. So you should be able to see the shrine. And sometimes some people have actually gotten the country. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it depends on what they want to show you. It all depends. Mm-hmm. Who knows? So once you build your shrine, so we're going to have a day, big day, where everyone will descend pretty much probably at my house more than likely. And we'll have a day, since there's so many of you, we'll probably have to break it up over 2 weekends, maybe 3, it depends. And we will build shrines. So that'll take a full day, take full participation by everybody. So it's not an event where you just come and you build your shrine and you be like, I'm out, got mine. No, everyone participates because everyone supports each other in building their shrine. So you'll actually learn how to construct your own shrine You know why? Because you are going to build your own shrine. I'm not going to build a shrine. I'm going to activate the shrine, but I am not going to build it at all. So you all will definitely learn how to create your shrine, because the goal is to have you empowered. Now, the activation of the shrine, I have to do that. You all can't do that part. And so you'll know how to build it, and then I'll activate the shrine, and then it'll be ready to go. And once we complete the activation, that's when the fun starts. Then you'll start learning how to use the power of the shrine, how to go out and send messages to people, how to use a shrine to heal people. So it'll be a little healing work. Now, you won't be doing major healing work. You're not going to be healing people of cancer. It's not that powerful. You need some stronger medicine for that. But things like high blood pressure, diabetes, things like that, you'll be able to have an impact on people's lives with that. So you'll learn how to do that as well as deal with, family members who are dealing with issues. If they're stressed out, depressed, or whatever it is, you'll learn how to go to your shrine and do work for them. And you never have to tell them that you did work for them at all. You don't have to say, hey, I did this for you for it to be effective. You just do the work and keep going. And they may call you, oh, I had the greatest week. Well, great. And you don't have to say, yeah, because the shrine over here, baby. You don't have to do that. He's like, okay, that's good. Glad you did. And you just know that you did the work. And so you'll be the gatekeeper of health and wellness in your family. And then at some point, you need to pass it on to somebody. So somebody needs to know this knowledge as well. And so you'll learn how to do all of those things, as well as you'll learn how to do stuff for yourself. So if you're dealing with things, you'll know how to use a shrine to do, things for yourself. But like, there's some things that your shrine is just not powerful enough to do. If you have a bunch of bad spirits in your house, your shrine probably won't be able to handle that at all. Somebody like really, really big, major issues, you need some stronger medicine for that stuff. But if you have, a minor traffic issue, not traffic issue, a minor court case, like a traffic issue or something like that, you can probably use your shrine for that. But if you're going up against something major, your shrine probably won't be able to handle that. If somebody's facing life in prison, you need some really strong medicine to get beyond that, to remedy that issue. So there are things your shrine can do, which your shrine can handle most of your day-to-day issues. Your shrine can handle that stuff. It's just a really, really major things. Your shrine is not going to be powerful enough to handle that. So, because you need spirits that are much more powerful than your ancestors to take care of that stuff. So, any questions or comments about anything I've said so far? I'm excited about this thing tonight.
Yeah, Chief.
Yes.
How you doing?
Fantastic. How about yourself?
Good. This is Rashep Sue. Question: You said that we would be able to help others. You mean just people in our family, or do you mean anyone?
We're gonna stick with family.
Okay.
Yep. Because what you would have to do. So this is the thing. You primarily, not in all instances, but you primarily want your ancestors to work within your bloodline. You want them to work. If you go outside of your bloodline, you want to call upon the ancestors of the person that you want to assist, and ask your ancestors to stand behind them as they do the work, but you don't want your ancestors doing the work. That makes sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I always recommend that people use this work within their bloodline, especially when it comes to doing things for other people. Like if you want to send somebody a message that's not in your bloodline, that's fine. Just tell your ancestors to go and whisper and come back.
Mm.
But you don't want your ancestors getting tangled up in other people's mess.
Got it.
It's a job for their ancestors to do, not yours.
Got it.
That's my suggestion.
So what about in-laws or
In-laws?
spouses or something?
Yeah, that's fine. Those are, remember, those are that's your family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, you said bloodline. So I don't know.
Yeah, so your spouse's ancestors are in your shrine.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we create the shrine, we specifically say you and your spouse. So we ask the ancestors from both sides to come and sit on the seat of the throne. Not seat of the throne, seat of the shrine. And so this shrine is anybody in your family can come to your shrine. This is no personal sacred shrine that's only for you and nobody else. Anybody in your shrine can come to you. Anybody in your family can come to your shrine, and you never deny anybody access to your shrine, because it's a family shrine or ancestor shrine, and your ancestors will look. They'll frown upon that if you deny a family member access to your shrine, because it's not really yours, it's everybody's. So remember that. I don't care if it's your auntie that you can't stand and she can't stand you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to come to your shrine, she need to come to your shrine. You cannot deny her access to that knowledge, that power.
But now when you say come to our shrine, you mean we call on them, or they can actually come to our physical shrine?
They can come and sit before your shrine and do work at your shrine.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
Yep.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes.
Does that mean that they have to come to your house, or can you move your shrine around?
You can move your shrine. You can move your shrine. And really, you're connected to your shrine. So the reality of it is you don't have to be in front of your shrine to do work.
I was thinking mainly for family members. Let's say somebody has an auntie that they can't stand and they don't want in their house.
Right.
We could potentially bring the shrine to them.
Yes, you can. Yep.
Chief, I have two
But
questions.
you just let your ancestors know, okay, look, we about to go to Auntie blah, blah, blah's house. Y'all know how I feel about her. You just have a conversation with them. And so you'll just say what you're gonna do. Say we're gonna go over here for a few hours, and she wanna do something. I don't know. Talk to y'all, I guess. And then you go over there. But I don't recommend moving your shrine a lot. I don't recommend moving it around a lot. A is heavy, and Jaribu can attest to that. It's definitely heavy, so it's not small and light, so it has some weight to it. And so because traditionally your shrine would be, there's a house that you would build, you'll put your shrine in the house, and the shrine never moves because it's part of the earth. Somebody look at the shrine and be like, oh, that's just a mound of dirt. But since we live in the West, and we have people who live in, condos and apartments and whatever, it doesn't work for them to have a shrine outside. So the alternative to that is to create the ancestor shrine in a pot. So it's going to be So yeah.
Steve, I have another question.
Yes.
So, two questions. First is, so for a couple, like Kahiri and me, is there one shrine created, or is there a shrine created for her bloodline and my bloodline? How does that work?
There's only one shrine because both of you all, because your ancestors are actually her ancestors.
Okay.
Yeah. So you all don't have separate ancestors at this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Chief,
Yes.
all right. So, what if you're married
Uh-huh.
and you're creating this one shrine, but say you get divorced?
Yes.
What do you do with the shrine?
Well, there is a ritual that, there's a couple of things you can do. You can leave it like it is. You can do that. But there's something like when you all, there's a traditional ritual that's performed when you get divorced to separate you. And when you separate each other, if I'm not mistaken, their ancestors go with you. No, your ancestors go with you, and their ancestors go with them. Period. And so at that point, we can create you another shrine with only your ancestors there. Because once you divorce, you're gone.
Yeah.
And so I'll ask that. No one's ever asked that question, so I'll ask to get more detail on that when we get to making the shrines, because I'm sure that there has to be, instead of creating another shrine, there's probably a way once you do the ritual to separate the two of you. There's probably something that you can do at the shrine itself to separate their ancestors from the shrine. But then the thing is this: if you have children, then you don't want to do that because your spouse's ancestors are still your children's ancestors, still in their bloodline. And so if you have children, you don't want to do that if you have children. If you don't, doesn't matter. So yeah.
Chief, I have a question.
Yes.
Do you hear me?
Yes.
In a case where Odette and I are sisters and
Yes.
but we live in two separate states, do we have two separate shrines at this point?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Even if the two of you live next door, you can have two separate shrines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chief, this is Janice. I have a question or
Hey,
comment.
Janice.
Hey, how you doing?
Fantastic.
So does that same thing apply for is there also a ritual for if someone gets married, like they get married, is there also a ritual that can bind their ancestors to that particular shrine?
We can actually do a ritual to ask their ancestors to come and sit. Wait a minute. No, we need to do another shrine.
Really? Okay.
Hold up. 1 second. It's a good question, but I'm gonna verify that. But I just thought about something, and I'm sure that we need to get another shrine. Give me 1 second. Let me get it. Because traditionally what happens is you would not have a shrine of your own. You still have your family shrine because people live with their parents until they get married. When they get married, that's when they leave, and then they create their own life, which means that they create their own shrine together with their spouse. But we don't live in tradition, so let me verify that. But I'm pretty sure, I'm about 90% sure that you have to create a whole nother shrine. Okay. All right, good question.
Hey, Chief, can you talk a little bit more about not being present with the shrine for it to do work?
So when you create the shrine, you're connected to the shrine, right? And so is your family connected to the shrine. So you can be on the other side of the world, and you can call your ancestors, and whatever ritual you would do at the shrine itself, you get whatever candles, incense, oils, liquor, cola nut, what have you, whatever's needed for that ritual, and you can do that ritual in wherever you are.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Chief,
Yes.
my question is, say you and your spouse already have 2 separate shrines. Can you then create a combined shrine without having to get rid of the old ones? Like, could you have those separate shrines existing, those three different shrines?
Yeah, you should be able to do that, and if that's something you all want to do, I would divine on that for you first.
Okay.
Because I actually know someone who practices Ifa,
Mm-hmm.
who was one of my students, and she has her traditional Ifa shrine, and she has the shrine that she created in class.
Okay.
Yeah, she has both, and she has no issues at all. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. Who else?
I have another question. This is Janice again.
Give it to me.
Since we're on the topic, it seems like on family relations when it comes to the shrine. I remember in the part one, I believe in the part 1 class, we talked about definition of an ancestor, and I believe it included, of course, our bloodline, adopted. I guess in-laws will fall along that, and I don't want to say family friend, but somebody who you said, like, if you never knew that they weren't related to you by blood, you'd be like, oh, this is my Aunt Sally. Would be part of ancestors. And so speaking of, like, you start off, you build your shrine, and then you have family situations that change in terms of, let's say you adopt a child.
Right.
Is that another ritual, or is that something that's like automatically assumed because they fall under the category of ancestor, or would that be another ritual?
So in the case of adoption, then that person becomes a part of your family. And so they can go to your shrine because there's something that happens spiritually. Now, in the case of, because that person, it's like you take on that person as your own.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So take, for example, the case of someone who is a like your best friend and is like a brother. They can't come to your shrine.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's where there's a distinction there. They can't come to your shrine.
Okay. Thanks.
All right.
Chief, another question?
Yes.
So you mentioned a little bit earlier about once the shrine is created, that you're able to use it to find active shrines within
you go ahead, but you can actually, if I said that the shrine has to be created first, that's not true. If I said that was I didn't mean to say that.
Okay.
You don't have to have your shrine created to find the other shrine. We'll do an exercise to do that.
Okay. So can you just go into a little more about what that is? And the reason I'm saying that I'm asking that is because when I had my star divination done, Chief Banzaba explained that there is a shrine in my family on my mother's side, and he said that, you know, work can be done for me to, I guess, recover that, to activate that again in my family, because and he said something about that yeah, it was neglected through I guess generationally, and so certain people in my family, you know, they weren't able to, I guess, progress in life how they would have wanted to because they didn't keep up the work with that shrine.
Right.
So yeah, so when you said that, that's the first thing I thought about. So trying to make the connection.
So when you create the shrine, you actually, it's like you connect to all the other shrines because you're connected to your ancestors. Your ancestors have agreed to sit on the seat of that shrine, and that will empower you to do work for those other shrines.
Okay,
that makes sense.
Yeah,
and then I would like to know, and say that'll be a good conversation for Chief Banzaba, because I'm sure that he saw some other things. I would like to know like what else he saw as it relates to the maintenance of that shrine, because depending on the root of that shrine, meaning where it's located, then there's specific work that needs to be done for that particular shrine.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I wanted to know though, is it I guess, is it possible to, I don't know, when I got that reading and I read it, I had this kind of crazy idea of like going to Georgia. My aunt Lilybell is in Georgia, and she's like the last matriarch that's alive. And I was like, okay, and she's up in age, and I was like, maybe there's a way that I could go and talk to her. You know, maybe she knew something about it. You know, it was kind of profound for me, and I was like, wow, how do I find out more about that? Because I've had instances in my life of just different things, different occurrences, different visions and dreams, and other people telling me stuff about my family's bloodline, specifically from my mother's side of the family, but nobody's really doing anything. I like, I'm the only person that's trying to like reconnect with all this, and you know, so I'm just trying to find any way that I can to reconnect and keep things continuing, you know.
Yeah, that'll be a good idea. If she remembers, that'll be a really good idea to go to her and find out a lot more detail about the history of your family as it related to, you know, doing whatever indigenous spiritual work that they were doing. To find out, okay, did they have, I don't know if she would know if they had a family shrine or ancestral shrine, but she may know. She may have heard something about it, you know, something like that. But that's an excellent idea to go and have a conversation with her about that.
So in the case where, because also I think she's in the early stages of like Alzheimer's, so there's a strong possibility that she won't remember.
Right.
In the case like that, I mean, are there spirits who can help me to do that work, or?
Yeah, your ancestors can help you do that work.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. They certainly can. Yep, they can help you.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
If it's Shakora.
Hey.
Tonight is our first class is tonight, and I know that there's the group going to Africa in March. How long will this particular class 2 last, if you have any basic idea?
We'll probably be in Ghana. I'm gonna still teach the class from Ghana.
Oh, okay. But so this is going to go on through March into April.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, yep. Because there's a lot that you all need to learn how to do.
Oh, okay. No problem.
And depending on how quickly you all progress and really catch on, that dictates how long it goes. I don't want anyone to be left behind and they're like, I have no clue what we did.
Yeah.
And everything that was taught is useless at that point.
Yes.
Totally useless.
Okay. I didn't know that I forgot all about connecting from Ghana. Yep.
I will be on the phone at midnight.
Okay.
And
Thank
then,
you.
So I'll be on the phone at midnight.
Okay, no problem. Thanks.
And so that means these calls will be about an hour because I'm trying to be on the phone at 3 a.m. Oh boy. Okay, any more questions, comments?
How long are y'all staying in Ghana?
I will be, everyone's staying for 2 weeks. I'll be there for a month.
Whoa.
And maybe longer. I don't know. I bought my ticket tonight, but I may call and extend it. It depends on how things go.
So you all won't be going in June or July?
You mean not June? No, we have to go in August.
Doggone it.
Because July is a heavy travel month for me because I have 3 family reunions in July.
Mm-hmm. June,
I have a conference that I have to attend in June. So it's not June doesn't work.
Is there a particular month that's not as hot as others?
Probably the rainy season, and we just got out of the rainy season. Well, wait a minute. No, the rainy season is coming up. Let me think.
August, right?
Yeah. The rainy season is coming up. So in August, it shouldn't be as hot. Yeah. August should be a lot more. Yeah, August shouldn't be bad. The first time I went to Ghana was in August. Yeah, it was August, actually. It was near the end of August. The first time I went. And the average temperature was like 85 degrees. That was the average. So, felt good. Felt really good.
Chief, for those who would like to make the March trip, so what should we do? Just talk to you separate, independently?
See this finger? Jaribu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's taking care of all of that.
Okay.
You want to go?
I'm thinking about it. I really do. I know that Chief said he's going to go like 3 times. I kind of want to go all 3 times, but I don't know if I could work that.
Let me know.
All right, I will.
Soon, February 14th is the deadline.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, good. So, have I explained to you all the difference between a shrine and an altar?
A little bit. You can explain
A long
again.
time ago you did.
Okay, like for me to explain it again? Because you explained it.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a distinct difference between a shrine and an altar. And then once I explain the difference, then I'm gonna ask someone who used to have a shrine but now who used to have an altar but now have a shrine to talk about the differences they notice. So just to give you all a different point of view outside of just what I'm saying. So the difference is an altar is a place where you give reverence to your ancestors. You acknowledge your ancestors. And so that's why it has pictures and, you know, other personal effects from ancestors on that particular altar. And with an altar, you can create an altar without there having been a ritual performed to activate that altar. And you have not asked your ancestors to come and take their rightful place on the seat of that particular, that altar. Then it'll be a shrine at that point. And so a shrine is it's like a home or like a house for your ancestors. It's a communication device. It's a portal between this world and the other world. And your shrine is a place where you go to, and it's designed to restore balance and harmony in your family, which means restoring your family back to its indigenous self, to how it was in the beginning, restoring your family back to its greatness. That's what your shrine does. And it's a device that will assist you with governing and guiding your family. And not just you, when I say you, that's generally meaning people in your family. Will assist them with guiding the family in the direction that works, that will maintain and sustain harmony and balance in your family. And so that's not to say that your family will be like a utopia. Won't be like that, because life happens. But when life happens, it's easy to restore balance and restore that harmony in your family when you have that shrine, because your ancestors will actually go out and just start going to work. But there's work that, you know, we have to do. You just can't just create it and be like, okay, it's done. Now y'all just do your thing. No, because sometimes there are conversations that you may need to have, or someone else in your family, they may tell them they need to have this conversation with someone. Because, you know, they may have already, you know, attempted to do whatever they want to do, and the person is just being stubborn. And then there's certain things that you will say that will activate something in that person to have them take a certain action. But sometimes there's work that you need to do. Yeah. And so that is the primary difference between an altar and a shrine. Before I go any further, anybody have any questions? Great.
I have a question.
Okay, yeah.
As far as the shrine is concerned, because you mentioned that an altar, usually you'll have personal effects from the family, pictures, etc. As far as your shrine is concerned, is it optional to have those personal effects around the shrine, or you shouldn't do that?
I mean, it's optional, but it's not traditional. Traditionally, your shrine looks like a clump of dirt.
Okay.
It's really what it looks like. A clump of dirt with some feathers on top of it. That's what it looks like, really.
Right.
And so traditionally, you wouldn't put all those things around it because it doesn't enhance the shrine, enhance the power of the shrine. You'll be putting those things around the shrine for you.
Right.
And at the end of the day, there's nothing pretty about a shrine. Now, shrines are beautiful to me now, but when the first time I saw a shrine, I was like, dang, it's nothing. It's just some dirt.
Right.
You know?
I was very surprised when I had my divination and I saw what you told me was your shrine.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea that it looked the way that it looked.
Mm-hmm.
It was feathers and it just, well, you know, excuse my expression, it just looked, do I want to, not junky, but.
You say junky. It looked messy.
No,
yeah.
I didn't know what to say, but it just looked so strange.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, if you add things to your shrine, that stuff is for you. It's not really for your ancestors because it doesn't boost the power of your shrine. Does none of that at all. Nothing at all.
Right.
And at the end of the day, your shrine, if a year from now your shrine looks the same way it looked when you created it, you're not working your shrine.
Mm.
You're gonna be spitting cola nut on your shrine. You're gonna be pouring liquor. You're gonna be, what else? Milk,
Everywhere.
incense. You know, your shrine gonna look a mess.
Wouldn't that make it smell?
Nah. Nope. You're not pouring a gallon of milk on there to make it smell sour. You just need a little corner. You don't need.
Can you show us your shrine, or is it too far?
Jaribu, are you close to your shrine?
I'm about to look at my shrine. That's my stuff. I'll show you. It ain't cute.
Oh, she's hungry.
Got all kind of stuff going on.
Continuing to hold. All representatives are still assisting other customers. Please hold for the next available.
Okay, I'll hold on for the next available person.
Y'all still hear me?
Yeah.
I wanted to hear the customer service music. It's usually something funny.
See it?
Yes.
See the red on top? That looks like it's probably cola nut. That's cola nut? Yeah. See, she doesn't spit cola nut on it, and you know the feathers. They're red now. It just looks like a mound of dirt.
Yes. So it's kind of like an issue in the IFA.
Yeah.
Issue sometimes has a face, but it also ends up with orphans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Jaribo, can you show that one more time? I didn't catch that. I'm sorry. Please.
It's fucking dark. You see it?
Come down a little bit more. Yeah, there.
You see it? You see it?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Jerry.
No problem.
I thought it had to be outside. I didn't know you could do a little small one that you could keep inside.
Anything small about
Yeah.
that?
So, yes, it's not. Yeah, it's not really that small.
Not small.
But we don't do them outside because we don't live in a culture that's conducive to everyone to have one outside. Because some people live in apartments, some people live in condos, some people live in, townhomes and with no yard or whatever. And so, it's just not. We just don't live in a culture where it's actually easy for people or convenient for people to have shrines that are outside. Because if you get up and move, guess what? Traditionally, if you move, you have to perform a whole ritual to deactivate that shrine. And then once you deactivate it and you move, you have to build a whole nother shrine. So that's how it's traditionally. And so we just don't, third floor of an apartment complex, there's no place to really put your shrine outside. Generally, if it's outside, it's going to be built in the earth. And you have to build like a house for the shrine and all of that stuff. So, yeah.
Chief, question. How does this particular ancestor shrine differ from a shrine, say, for a spirit in your family, or a spirit that you might receive from an elder, like a jinn or a dwarf or something like that? Are they built the same way? Do you work with them similarly? Things like that.
I'm sorry, I'll read some real quick. So the answer to your question is they are different. And you work with them different. So if you get a spirit from an elder, and you get a shrine from an elder, there's a specific way you need to work that shrine based upon the requirements of that spirit. So it's different.
Okay.
Yeah, it's way different.
As far as so you mentioned like you've had other students in the past who were in other traditions. Are the process that we're going to go through in terms of building this shrine, does the process and the methods to build this shrine, can that be applied to like spirits that someone might have worked with in another system, that they never actually built the shrine? They might have worked with the spirit, but they never actually built a shrine for the spirit. So I'm asking the methods and process that we use to build this shrine, can those things be duplicated for other than dealing with the ancestors?
I'm gonna repeat it to make sure I understand your question. So you're asking, the methods that we use to build this shrine, can these same methods be used to build a shrine for another spirit or something like that, right?
Correct. Like, so okay. If someone wanted to build a shrine for Shango and like that, something like that.
Okay. No, because even the shrines that I have here, it took something different. So for example, one of my shrines, it took a fishing net, but it had to be a used fishing net. And it took a specific type of rock. So they had to go out and find a specific type of rock. And, my other shrine, it required, the shrine that required the net required herbs from the sea in order to build it. Mm-hmm. And so someone had to go out into the ocean and find some herbs at the bottom of the ocean, some specific types of herbs, and then use those to build a shrine. And so then I have another shrine that actually required, eel skin. It required, tiger skin, lion skin, and a bunch of other stuff as well.
Okay.
Build it. So it's different. It's totally different.
Okay.
Yeah. Good question, though. Yep, and correct,
I have
Nia. Each spirit does have different taboos. Because some spirits you
I have a
have,
question,
you can't
Chief.
yell in the house. Oh, give me 1 second. Some spirits you have, you can't yell in the house. Meaning, if you want somebody, you can't be like, "Honey, come here." You have to get up. You have to go to the person and say, "Come here." And so there are different taboos with different spirits. Some spirits do not like yelling at all. Period. They just don't. So
can't have that spirit with kids, probably.
Oh, I see you, Nia. You want one like that?
Yeah, that I imagine that must be kind of, you know, a special situation, or either the kids, you know, traditionally must know, have to be trained up to, you know, not to yell in the house, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. They do. They do. Yes, Ayana.
Can you do spiritual work at the shrine, or is it simply just to communicate with the ancestors?
No, you can do spiritual work at the shrine, and I'll teach you how to do that spiritual work at the shrine. So yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yep.
And you said that you can communicate with your ancestors, the spirits that walk with your ancestors, and our personal spirits as well?
Yeah, the spirits of your ancestors, yes. And those are going to be spirits that are in your bloodline. And so those spirits in your bloodline walk with you anyway.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right. So, for example, if Oshun governs your head, then you want to do you don't want to work with Oshun in your ancestral shrine. That makes sense? You want to work with Oshun based upon whatever guidelines there are to work with that particular spirit. But you have spirits that have been in your bloodline since the beginning, and those spirits, you have access to those spirits. So yeah.
So you pretty much have to create a separate shrine if you're working with spirits of different, like, traditional pantheons. The one that we're creating is just for our ancestors.
Yes.
Okay.
And so it translates as like the womb of your ancestors. And womb is the word for like, no. So it actually translates into like the spirits of your ancestors, or like the gods of your ancestors is what it translates into. And so those are the spirits that have just been in your family. Yep.
Okay.
And this is going back, like the ancestors are going back like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 years.
They go back to the beginning.
Or you're immediately. Okay.
Yep. The beginning of your bloodline, that's how far you can go.
Do you ever clean your shrine? Like when you putting the color nuts in there, and can it like get kind of like gross and need to be cleaned out?
Yes. You can clean it out. You can. So someone asked if you acquire new spirits, would it be added to your ancestor shrine? No. And that's something it's, let me see how to explain this. So as I acquire new spirits, they're not like the spirits who are in my bloodline already. And these particular spirits, as I pass, because I'm responsible, it's like, so you're responsible for passing these spirits down from generation to generation to generation. In particular people in your family who can hold or carry the spirits that you acquire along the way. So we're responsible for passing those spirits down from generation to generation to generation. Because every cousin or every child may not carry the medicine to hold those spirits. And so you need to, if you're working with those spirits, they'll tell you who you need to pass it down to. And so you'll know. Definitely.
So is there a way that you call the spirits into the shrine? Do you call them in?
Yes. So during the time that I am creating the shrine, that's when they come in with your ancestors.
Okay.
And you call the gods of this land. There's a host of things that you do, to create the shrine. So you start calling your ancestors. You're calling the spirits that walk in your family. You're calling the gods of this land to stand behind your ancestors. Make sure the work is done. Whatever they're up to, you want them to stand behind your ancestors in support of your ancestors.
Has anyone ever taken possession of this?
What do you mean?
Or been possessed?
No.
Been possessed by their ancestors?
Not in this process. Mm-mm. Not doing the creation of the shrine. Their ancestors come to me when I'm activating the shrines. They come to me and do whatever they do, say whatever they say, and they jump on my back a lot of times, and I just kind of get off me like that.
Okay.
So yeah.
But do they ever come to you to give messages to the person? I mean, of course.
Usually, yeah. Right? Like for example, so when we're creating the shrine, there are 3 stages to creating the shrine. First, you have to ask your ancestors to sit on the seat of the shrine. That's first. Second, you ask your ancestors to restore abundance to your family. And third, you ask them to restore community to your family. That's the third thing you ask. And so through each phase, your ancestors may say no. Or they may just say yes the whole time. Or at the abundance phase, they may say, nah, we're not gonna do that. And then they'll tell me why they're not gonna do it. And then they'll tell me what needs to be done in order for them to sit on the seat of that shrine. And then this work that you have to do.
What was number 3 again?
Community. You know y'all gonna experience all this firsthand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I promise you all will remember all 3 because you're gonna have it done personally and you're gonna see it done over and over and over and over. And then when you remember them, because when we stop at a certain point and your ancestors say, no, we're not gonna restore community, then there's a divination that needs to be done at that point. And you do the divination on the spot to find out what happened, why they wouldn't communicate. And so during that time period, your ancestors will talk to me. They'll come and say something to me. They'll say things to me while I'm asking them to restore community. They'll come to me, at the point in which even after I've asked them to restore community, before they say yes or no, they'll come to me then also. So usually I know whether or not they're going to say yes or no before we even get to that point. And so when you get to the point, when you ask them to restore and you're waiting for a response, then there are things that you can do to petition, and things that I do to petition your ancestors to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm in constant communication with your ancestors the whole time. And I'm petitioning them to say yes. And they're telling me, nah, that's all right. Or they're saying, sure. You know, like we had one student, his ancestors, they said no. I forgot what phase. I think abundance, or community. I think it was abundance. I don't remember. But one of the two. I know it wasn't the first phase. And while I was petitioning them, they said no. And then I'll ask them why. And they said because there's an issue between his uncle and his family that's long-standing and it's not been resolved. And his uncle is estranged from his family, and his uncle lives in New York. So immediately I turned around and I asked him, I said, you have an uncle in New York? He said, he had this little surprised look on his face. He was like, yeah. I said, okay. Is he estranged from your family, right? He was like, well, yeah, he is. And I said, okay. And right before and actually told me he was on drugs really bad. Right before I asked him, was he on drugs? He said, well, yeah, he was on drugs. And, you know, he did some things while he was on drugs that, you know, separated him from the family. And so I said to him, he needs to get that cleaned up. And when he gets it cleaned up, then, you know, your family will work. And so I asked his ancestors if he called his uncle and had that conversation with him, would that suffice? And they said yes. So at that point, we could move forward. And so all he had to do was go and communicate with his uncle and tell him, I don't care how he worded it. He could say we were doing a ritual. I don't really care. He just needs to make that communication with him. He needs to talk to his uncle about restoring the relationship between he and his family, because it's fractured, it's broken, and it's causing a rift spiritually. It's causing a lot of problems. And so they need that stuff cleaned up. So he needs to do the work, meaning his uncle. And so the moment he agreed to that, the moment his ancestors said yes, he can move on.
Wow.
So those are the types of things that actually come up.
And if I pay her.
And sometimes you have to, sometimes you may have to start over. Because we've had people who've had to start over completely. Their ancestors be like, nope. And so there may be some work that they need to do, and they need to go off and do that work and come back some other time and, you know, do it again. So we've had instances like that. And generally the ancestors will tell me, okay, they need to come back in, I don't know, March, April, whatever month, and do it then. And so the work that we did in the first class, all of that work was done in preparation for you to get your shrine, for your ancestors to say yes. That's what all that work is done for. That's why all those exercises were centered around developing a relationship with your ancestors. That's what all that work was centered around.
So how long does that take?
What take?
You say all that work. You know, of course, we don't know anything about it because it wasn't our class.
It was your class.
Oh, okay. You're talking about us. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to excuse me. I had a call from Florida and
that's fine. That's fine.
Distractions, but I'm okay.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. the work in part 1, work in your class.
I got you.
Yep, that's what that work is for.
Mm-hmm.
To get you to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have a relationship with your ancestors, there's a higher probability that they're going to be like, nah, that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know her. She ain't serious, you know. Mm-hmm. So that work, and you'll see how all of that work makes a difference, especially when you start to do the exercises with the shrine and learn how to work the shrine. All of it will start coming together at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because all those assignments were purposely put in place and in a specific order to get you to this point. So yeah, that's what that was for. So I hope y'all did your assignments.
I was just about to say that. Not just go on and do it. Now, I was doing that shrine over. I had a real serious attitude with my ancestors.
Oh yeah, go ahead and tell them about that.
I think I got to the 2nd level.
Yep.
And they was like, no. I was just a tapping, I'm begging and pleading. No. I had to start over. I think the only person that actually got their shrine when we did it was James.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Out of 6 people. Yeah, I think it was 6 of you. 6 or 7? How many? Yeah, about 6 of you. That everybody's ancestors said,
So what do you mean they have to do it over? I mean,
meaning that they have to start the process over.
The shrine process.
Yes, they got to tear the shrine down, because when you create the shrine, after each level, so it's actually a mound of clay, of red clay, and after each level, you stick the butt part of a African yam into the shrine.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have 3 yams in the shrine.
Mm-hmm.
And so even if you get to level 3, you got 2 yams in there. If they say no, you have to start over, you got to tear it all down.
Mm-hmm.
And start from scratch. Either if they say you have to start over, more than likely they're going to say there's some major work or something you need to do. You need to go get that handled before you can start over.
Mm-hmm.
And if they say you can just continue, you can continue from that spot, from where you left off, and you'll continue the same day in that moment. You won't continue the next day.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be the same day. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
this is deep.
Yeah, it's deep, and it's not personal. Trust me, because I think what Jaribu had to deal with had nothing to do. It had nothing to do with her. I don't think did it.
Part of it had to do with me.
Okay.
And the other part had to do with my sister.
Mm-hmm.
He was like off in the distance somewhere, so I had to have a conversation with my sister, and I had to get just be really authentic about what I was doing with following through with connecting with my ancestors, and really be straight up with that's who I am and that's what I'm doing. Like, so I had to really deal with that and have a conversation with my sister. So it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Because your ancestors will actually go out and do the work. They always do the heavy lifting. You just need to go have the conversation, especially when it deals with other people. So for example, actually in Jaribu's class, one of the students, her ancestors said no. I think she got all the way to community. Yeah, she got to community, and her ancestors said no. And when I did the divination, I said, wow, I said, there's a huge disconnect between the men in your family. And she knew immediately what I was talking about. Her brother and her father, one of her brothers and her father did not get along at all, period. It had nothing to do with her. She didn't start that. She wasn't invited to that party. However, she had to go clean that up or start the process of cleaning that up. She had to go have that conversation. And it was, for her, it was a tough conversation to have. It was uncomfortable. She didn't want to have the conversation, but she needed to have the conversation. And so the moment she called her brother to have the conversation, her brother brought everything up that needed to be said about it. All she did was call him and pretty much listen. Because her ancestors had already gone out to do the work. She just needed to facilitate the conversation between he and her father, facilitate that taking place. And so her follow-up conversation with him after he said, you know what, the family needs to come back together. I know I don't come around much and I'm estranged. Like, he started saying all that stuff unprompted, pretty much the moment she called. I think I'm telling that story right, but it's something like that. But I know that he wasn't prompted at all. And so he came up with, we need to do this as a family. We need to do that as a family. Like, he came up with all that stuff. And so after that, she came back and to create a shrine, and everything was smooth. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3.
Oh. Yeah. Chief, what was that again? It was community, abundance. I know we're gonna go over it again, but what was the other one?
So first you ask the ancestors to sit on the seat of the shrine. Second is abundance. So you can say first is the invitation. So you can call first level is invitation. So you're inviting them to sit on the seat of the shrine. The second phase is abundance, and you're asking them to restore abundance to your family. And the third phase is community, and you're asking them to restore community to your family.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So, and as we build up to creating the shrines, these exercises that I have you to do are going to further deepen your relationship with your ancestors. So when we get to the shrine, there's a very high probability that they'll say yes. The last class that we just finished creating the shrines for in December, I think it was, everybody, all the students got their shrines created the same day, which was great. That was a really good class, and they really did the work. They really did. So everybody who was there got their shrines created. And so if you don't get your shrine created, it's not personal, I promise you. Your ancestors just don't want to create something in a space that's not complete or that's not clean, or where there's an issue spiritually. They want you to create their shrine where things are running the best that they could run, or operating at the highest level that they could operate at based upon the circumstances. Does that make sense? They may not be running at the highest level, that would be having your family whole and complete, but they're running at a level that's suitable and acceptable.
So what if everything is running smoothly with your family, and then there's a rift that's created someplace?
You mean before or after you create your
After.
After you create the shrine?
Mm-hmm.
You go to your shrine and do the work to mend that rift.
Mm-hmm.
And your ancestors, when your ancestors are strong,
mm-hmm.
because so when you create the shrine, one of the things you do is you actually strengthen your ancestors. When your ancestors are strong, they will go out and start doing some work.
Cool.
And so don't necessarily look for, like a genie in a bottle and think it's gonna, you create your shrine on Saturday and you wake up Sunday, you're in this utopia. It's not gonna work that way, because you have to get that it's not just your immediate family, It's your cousins, uncles, aunts, third cousin, fourth cousin, all of them.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And so for one of my students, she has seen things progress in her family, and then all of a sudden, like a year later, she went down to Florida, and like people, like her family started coming together. It was like magic.
Mm-hmm.
And these are relatives that she knew about, but she didn't know them personally.
Mm-hmm.
Because over the course of that year, her ancestors were doing whatever work they needed to do. Whatever that was. I don't know what they were doing in the background, but they were doing work in the background. So when the family came together, there was only talk about being united.
Mm-hmm.
That was a primary conversation that took place. So yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Uh-huh.
I know a little while ago we talked about how the ancestors, how we have to release their spirit from that realm that they're in order to empower them.
Uh-huh.
Now, even though we build our shrine, does it diminish? Does it help them along?
Yeah.
By us doing that, or does building the shrine release them from that realm?
No, it doesn't release them. It'll strengthen them, but it won't release them. There's a whole nother ritual that has to be done for that.
So if they were released, they will be even more powerful.
Yeah. Yep.
Chief, is that the ancestralization that you talked
Yes.
about?
Yep. Absolutely.
Is that a part of this process at all?
Not right now, no. I have to. So this is what needs to be done, and this is one reason I'm staying for a month, is to really, we have to figure out how to do an ancestralization, because normally, and ancestralization is really a made-up word. If you go to the continent and you talk about ancestralization, they're gonna look at you like you're crazy, because they don't have a concept or a word for that. Because when someone transitions, this is just part of the burial process.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to we came up with that, not we, but Malidoma actually came up with that term, ancestralization. And so we have to figure out how to perform those burial rites, and the person has already transitioned, and their ancestors who we have no clue who their names are, who they are. We have no clue. And so all of them have to be ancestralized. So we have to figure out how to do that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Another question. When you say preparing the shrine, the first part, basically the invitation for them to sit on the shrine, are we asking one particular ancestor, or are we asking all of them to do that? Okay.
All of them, yep. Every single last one of them should take a seat on that shrine.
Okay.
And it's just all symbolic, because there's a rock actually at the top of the shrine.
Mm-hmm. So kind of like in their world, it's kind of like a big family round table or something, I guess.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Yep. It's a good way to put it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Chief, I have a question, or just need to express this, please.
Okay, yes.
Yesterday afternoon, Nandi, and Nandi, my daughter.
Yes.
Her, as we call it in the Western world, her stepmother, her father's first wife, the mother of her other siblings, made her transition yesterday.
Okay.
And so this is a relatively young family. You know, Nandi's 27.
Mm-hmm.
Africa's in her 30s, and you know all of that. And this is probably one of their not first time, but as adults, their first time really having to deal with transitioning, and then someone so close. You know, you kind of expect it with your grandparents, even though you don't like it. But this is now mother. You know, so I'm now trying to figure out how to, and then going along with my purpose that you gave me that I know about. What is it that I can do? How can I support her, support them as my children as well, you know, to help them through this period.
Okay.
To get through, if nothing else, to get through this next week or so, next 10 days, you know, through the burial. I mean, just all of that, you know.
Okay, so I'm going to give you all a ritual that you can do. Oh, same ritual that you all did for, what is her name?
Was it Asha?
No, was her name Jennifer too? She was my student. It starts with a J.
Yeah. Shoot, what is her name? Her mother passed and her uncle passed like within days.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
I remember. I just can't remember her name, but I remember that several months ago.
Yeah. So you all can do that same ritual. Nah, it's not Samantha. You all can do that same ritual for her, for your and it'd be great if you all do it as a group. Do the same ritual for Nandi's stepmother.
Can you explain it again? I'll have to go back way in my notes to find out what it was.
Who remembers it?
Lit a candle for her, put it in the window. And
what color candle?
White candle.
Mm-hmm.
And put it in the window and asked our ancestors to bring forward her ancestors.
Yep.
And we told her ancestors to really like support her through this. She was like the matriarch of the family, and have her to be one, just be supported. I don't know what else we said, but something around having her be what she needed to be for the family, support her, comfort her.
Yep.
And we did it at the same time, and we let the candle burn out.
Correct. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get a white candle and you need a bowl, or ash and water, or just a bowl and water. If you have ash and water, that's great, because you're gonna invoke your ancestors. And so however you do that, that's the method you need to use to do it. So when you call your ancestors, you're gonna ask your ancestors to bring forth her ancestors. And when her ancestors show up, you're gonna tell them that someone new is coming, or someone is coming, or has come. However you want to phrase that is up to you. And for them to receive her. And you can say the name of who is coming.
Her name is Asata. Or the ancestors will know her as Asata, but her government name is Kathleen. Kathy.
What's her last name?
Ooh. Since she divorced.
No worries. Just get her last name and then just post her full name in the
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do that in the group.
Okay. Someone is coming and to accept her.
Yep. And you can tell them to make sure that they tell her where she is and what has happened. She may not know. Sometimes you transition and you have no clue what's going on because we don't have proper burial rites for people to let them know what happened.
So as we're speaking to the ancestors, we're asking them to speaking to the departed, or are we speaking to the children that are here?
No, you're speaking to, so let me back up. So you're going to invoke your ancestors, right?
Yes.
To bring the person who has transitioned ancestors forth.
Yes.
And then you're going to tell them that someone is coming.
Yes.
Right? You're not going to tell their children that somebody's coming. They're not coming to them. So the children, the people who are on this side, leave them out of it for now. They have nothing to do
with it.
Okay. Nothing at all.
Okay.
Leave them out. So when you tell them that someone is coming, you want to tell them who's coming. And so that's the part where you say, say the person, this is who's coming. And you need to tell them to receive her.
Oh yeah, make sure that no.
What was the name of the lady's ancestors we had to speak to again?
Oh, she's gonna post that in the group.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. So with that being said, it's obvious that the whole process, as I remember you saying before, that it's actually for the person that's transitioned and not so much the family that's left behind.
It's for both.
Oh.
So I'm gonna get to the family that's left behind in a minute, but we're just going to leave the people who are on this side, leave them out for now.
Okay.
Yeah, leave them out for now.
Okay.
Okay. So then once you've said that, you know, to make sure that she knows what happened, she's clear, she knows where she is, blah, blah, blah. Then you want to tell those ancestors, you want to give them instructions on what you want them to do for the family who is in the natural world, the family who's still here on this side. What do you want them to do? So you want them to comfort them, to let them know that she's fine, she's in a good place. You want them to know that you know, they're loved. You know, you can put all of that in your own words.
So I'm speaking, or we're speaking to the departed's ancestors now, since we've
correct, not your ancestors. Yep. Once you tell your ancestors to bring them forth, you are only speaking to the person who has transitioned ancestors. Your ancestors have nothing to do with this from that point on. All I got to go out and get the person. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah. Because remember, you don't really want your ancestors to be doing the work that other people's ancestors can do.
Okay.
Okay. And tell them to make sure that the family gets the support that they need.
What was so interesting about all of this, because you always hear that when there's a baby born, there's somebody has to leave. And that's exactly what happened. October, her great-grandson was born. And that's when I think she's been in chemotherapy, whatever, all the whatever. But then here we go. And this was all of a sudden, this was so unexpected yesterday. It was unbelievable. But when that baby came, I just had, the sense that I have, that you told me that I have, that was the first thing that I thought of. I said, who now has to leave? And it was great-grandmother.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Last question.
How many girls? Is there? Does she have a son?
Yes, O'Malley.
Yeah. Tell them to especially go to him.
Yes, of course. Yep. He was the one son. He had four girls.
Yeah. You said she transitioned yesterday, right?
Yes.
She may come to him on the 6th day. Whatever 6th
come to the son?
Yeah, whatever 6th day it is from yesterday. And she'll have on all white.
Day number 6. That should be around the burial day.
Okay. Yep. About 6 days
But,
you'll be there.
But if it isn't, it's day 6 from starting today or yesterday?
So today will be day 1.
Today's day 1. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So sometime around the 6th day.
Okay.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she may show up at the foot of his bed. Because I see him laying down looking forward. No, looking like on his back, looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that on day 6 or just at any point?
6. Sometime around day 6. Yep. Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
When do we light the candle or the ash in the water or as a group?
You all can do that tomorrow. That'll be fine.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Chief, I kind of can't light a candle tomorrow. I could try, but I'm not 100% sure if I'll be able to.
Okay. That's fine.
When we light the candle and put it in the window, as Jariba was reminding us, we'd let it burn out, or we do it at midnight?
Give me a second.
Oh, okay.
Do you know if she liked the color gray? Or you don't know?
Gray?
Gray.
I don't know, but I can find out.
Find out. if she like dark colors, like gray.
Yes, I know she liked dark colors.
Okay. Okay, so did she have a dark gray or black like shawl or scarf or something like that?
I'm sure. I can almost attest to it, but I will find out.
Okay. That needs to be spread across the top of the casket. That's what she wants.
Must be the dark black gray shawl.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Yep.
You said spread across where?
The top. It's in anywhere.
Top?
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if she has a gray and a black, they need to be somehow intertwined and spread across the top.
Okay. If it's only just a black one, or are you saying it's supposed to be the two?
If it's only one, because she's just, and then she flashed something like a black and gray, or it looks like either it's a smoky gray or it's a black and a gray, like wrapped or intertwined or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Then she showed that.
Okay. She's showing you that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If they can only find one, then just spread it across just spread that one. If there's two,
okay.
But I'm 100% sure there's two.
Oh, I'm sure. Mm-hmm.
And then they need to place before she is lowered in the ground. So they pick when they do this, don't matter. They need to take the scarf and place it at her feet. They need to open up the casket and place them. She's very clear. She's showing that scarf at her feet. I don't know if when she was here, she wrapped them around her feet when it was cold. I have no clue, but she's showing them at her feet. So after they completed the services, they need to be placed at her feet.
Inside the casket?
Inside the casket, yes. Yep. Absolutely.
Unlike the family that had the yellow piece of cloth that we had to put up in the church, remember?
Yes.
Something like this with this particular family, as I could probably see, may be difficult for me to try to explain.
Okay, explain it the best way you can.
I mean, and then for them to understand it and then want to do it, they're going to think I'm crazy.
That's fine. They probably think you crazy anyway. So that ain't gonna be, yeah.
I mean, to open up the casket after the casket is closed. I mean, all of that, and
yeah, hey, tell them those are the instructions. And
okay,
that, and it's up to them to either adhere to her wishes or not. That's
okay. Yep.
You've done what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
Somebody will listen.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mm-hmm. So, so you all, so the candle needs to stay lit until it goes out, and I'll show you what kind of. Y'all remember what kind of candle?
Yeah, by the 8.
Yeah.
I think it's 8 feet.
Do not go off the wrench. Y'all finish part 1 so y'all know how to follow instructions. Give me a second.
Do not go off the what?
Chief, this is Ayana.
Give me 1 second, Ayana. Give me a second.
Okay.
See this candle?
Mm-hmm.
Candle like this. I didn't say a 7-day candle. I didn't say a candle in a jar. I didn't say a candle in a fishbowl. Like this.
What's that, about 8 inches?
Yeah, probably about 8 inches.
Okay.
That's like a regular taper candle.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. You can get a candle holder and sit it in the candle holder. That's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what you need. Do not get them other whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chief, I've been struggling to find regular candles around here. There's usually just like those glass candles with different smells and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Any ideas where I can get one of those plain simple candles?
Do you have a Michael's near you?
Yes, but I've not seen those kind of candles in there. Maybe I looked in the wrong place.
Yeah, I know they have them in Michael's here.
Okay.
In the Hobby Lobby?
Hobby Lobby. I'm sorry, Hobby Lobby.
Oh, okay. We have both. So
Okay.
I'll check Hobby Lobby then.
Yeah, Hobby Lobby. Yeah, that's where they have these. Yep, you get them from Hobby Lobby.
Thank you.
What time are we doing this?
I'm gonna get to that in a second.
Oh.
Give me a second.
Okay.
And Walmart has a huge candle department.
Mm-hmm.
Chief?
Yes.
This is Ayana. My internet was acting up, so can you repeat what we're doing with the candle? I didn't catch that part.
Okay.
Like what do
So I haven't said what we're gonna do with the candle yet.
Okay, I can't see. Can you either tell me what the candle looks like or send me a picture of it because I'm no longer online?
Yeah, I'll send you a picture of it. I have.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I have a picture of it. I'll take a picture and send it to you. Yeah, I'll do that.
Can we just post everything in the group with the instructions?
The instructions will be posted. Someone is taking notes.
Okay.
Yeah, so somebody be taking notes every single class. So yep. So this is what you're gonna do. Once you have called your ancestors and called the ancestors, once you've done all that, you want to light the white candle. And you need to say that this candle represents a beacon. Which calls or which brings whatever her name is, you'll say her name to her ancestors. So it will draw her to them. So that's what this candle represents.
Which her?
The woman who has transitioned.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're gonna tell her to follow the beacon or follow the light. That's what it represents. So that's her ancestors. They're gonna show up that way. That's them going to get her to bring her home. So that's what all of that represents, to bring her to them. And that's how she knows. And then you light the candle. And you want to sit the candle in the windowsill. And let it burn out. Now you want to do this at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Chief?
Yes.
So you're saying like this candle represents a beacon which calls Kathleen to you, talking to her ancestors, right?
Yeah, which it's a beacon which she follows. So yeah, it calls her. So that's what it calls her to her ancestors. That's what it
That's
is.
what we're saying. That's what we're saying.
Yes, it calls her to her ancestors.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like a pathway for her to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what this represents. So her ancestors should shine like the candle.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
When you said, say, follow the beacon, who then are we speaking to? Are we speaking to Kathleen?
Yes. She should follow. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Because that's who's coming. It's Kathleen.
May I ask about the time? Is it always 11 p.m. or is it depending on the person?
It depends on the person. Because I was running times through my mind, and they kept saying 11. Then I went to 12. They say 11. I went to 9. They went to 11.
What about things like day of the week or days after somebody's passing? Is there a general or is that also divine though?
Ask that question one more time. I'm sorry.
So if somebody passes and you wanted to do this ritual, so I'm asking more for the general for this ritual. Is there a set amount of days after somebody's passing that you should do it? Or is it a particular day in the day of the week, like a Friday, because that's Ancestor Day?
Friday is a great day to do it, which is Ancestors Day.
Okay.
But you want to do this ritual. This is a general ritual that you can do for anyone.
So Chief,
but if they transition, so Friday is the optimal day to do it, right? But you want to do it as soon as possible.
okay. Chief, I have a question about that. For this particular instance, we're doing it on what night?
Tomorrow, Friday.
Tomorrow. So if someone can't, will it? So I guess what I'm asking is, if somebody can't do it tomorrow, then should they not do it, or will that affect anything if they do it like a Saturday, for instance, or should everybody just do it on Friday for this case?
Right. Everybody should do it on Friday because, she should be, by Saturday, she should be with those particular ancestors who are still in the intermediary realm. She should be with them by then. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if you can't do it tomorrow, don't worry about it.
Okay, thanks.
Rashepsu, can you hear now? Can you hear us now? Log out and log back in if you can hear me. We can't hear you. Okay, good. Okay. Woo.
Huh. Thank you and God bless.
You're welcome. She's fine. She's actually at peace, even though it may have come sudden, but she's at peace. Because I don't feel turmoil. So. And she was actually ready. I don't know how old she was. She was ready. Was she like 89 or something?
Oh no, she was. See, the oldest is 40. I mean, she was like in late 50s, early 60s.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's young.
Young.
Oh, wow. She's at peace, though.
Okay.
Okay. So, let me see. Let me give you all the homework. So, your first assignment is you want to ask, so for the first, let's say Thursday. Oh, perfect. So for the first 4 days, you're going to ask your ancestors to show you the active ancestral shrine. You say ancestral shrine or family shrine, either one is fine. You say ancestral shrine on your mother's side. Do that for 4 days. And you're gonna do this before you go to bed. So this is a night one. And go straight to bed. And then for the final 3 days, you're gonna ask your ancestors to show you the ancestor shrine on your father's side. So who knows why there's 4 and 3? 4 days and 3 days.
Something 4
4
days
for
is
women.
for females and 3 for male.
Perfect. Yep, absolutely. Yep, so do that.
Chief.
You can start that tonight. That'll be, let me see, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday. Yeah, start that tonight. That'll be because 7th day will be Wednesday night. Yeah.
You meet with Ash, right?
However you would normally invoke your ancestors. Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Chief?
Yes.
As you know, my mom's like working on her shrine. So
Yes.
do I just ask about my dad the whole time, or do I just, I don't know what to do. Well, when to do my dad's? Just to ask.
Well, no. So it for you, that's it. It doesn't matter if the shrine is created or not. So that doesn't matter. So,
Okay.
So yeah. So you'll still ask 4 days for your mom, 3 days for your dad. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome.
But we're actually asking for the ancestral family of our mother and the ancestral family.
Yes, you're asking, the ancestors on your mother's side, the ancestral family, to show you that shrine. And so, no, I'm not gonna say that. So yeah, I'm just interested to see what people get, and then I'm gonna enjoy explaining to you what you saw.
Do we use the ash, water, and stick?
Yes, you can do that. Yep. And if you don't use ash, water, and stick, is that wait? What? Hold up one second. Heck no, you can't update my computer now. That's not gonna work. No. Do that later. Okay.
Let's have a Mac.
Shoot. So if you only have a bowl and water, use your bowl and water. So whatever method that you normally use, that's the method you'll use to invoke your ancestors.
Second question.
Yes.
Could we also use the shells? Sorry.
Oh, good question.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
I don't have shells.
Oh, nah, don't use the shells yet. We'll use them later. We'll use them when everybody has their shells.
Okay. Sorry.
I don't know what's funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
That
private joke.
So Chief, we don't have to use the rock and the stick to call our ancestors. We can just use a bowl of water.
Now, let me be clear about something. My preferred method is the rock, stick, ash, water. That method resonates with me more so. This is just me, more so than the water in the bowl. But you should know how to do both, because I've taught you how to do both of them.
Would it make a difference? Because I did start out before I had the rock and the stick. I just used a crystal bowl with distilled water, and I communicated with them that way.
That's fine. You can do that.
Okay.
What do you have now? Did you switch to using the ash, water, stick, rock?
Yeah, I do, but I feel uncomfortable doing it. They actually were communicating with me before when we were doing part 1 when I just had the water in the bowl. But then when I got all the other stuff, I guess I spend so much time focused on doing the whole procedure that I just feel like I get lost in the process. I don't feel connected to it.
Okay, that's fine. Use the bowl and the water. That's fine. Perfectly fine.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Chief.
Yes.
Would you explain the phase 2 about abundance and restore? I was distracted with that emergency call when you were explaining that. I know what you said about the sit around the shrine, inviting our ancestors to sit with us.
Yes.
But the second phase, I don't get it.
So you're asking them to restore abundance to your family. So abundance shows up 1,000 different ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty.
So wherever abundance is lacking, you want that restored. Wherever abundance exists, make that abundance sweeter or expand it or have it to grow.
Okay.
In the way that the abundance existed in the beginning of your bloodline.
Wow. That's even better.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You are welcome. All right, what else y'all got? I'm done.
Do we have to pour the water and the ash out before we speak to anybody in the morning, or are we just okay with going about our day and then pouring it out at some point?
You can pour it out. You can pour the ash and the water out in the morning. You can pour it out at the end of the day. It's fine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, I left out one part. I should know this part. What did I leave out?
You give them a treat. Tell them if they tell you, gonna give them some gin or something.
Perfect. There you go. There you go.
And then you want us to pour the gin in front of your front door, open front door and pour it there, or does it matter?
Absolutely. Pour it in the front door.
Okay.
And when you get your shrine, you just pour it on the shrine.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
No more front door action. Everything can be done at that point. So yeah.
One last question,
Yes.
Chief. You know, we talked about in building the shrine, right? Because I know we'll be pouring different things in it. Would that cause the problem as far as like insects?
No.
Shit, I just want to know.
No.
There won't be no kids.
And I laugh because nobody's ever asked that question. So I always have visuals, and I have this visual of this army of insects waiting for you to sit. They come in, man. We got a new crib. Woo-hoo! Home sweet home, baby. Oh boy. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're talking, but I can't. Your mouth is moving, but I can't hear a word.
I saw on Facebook where someone suggested that we let it dry so it won't mold.
Yes.
Like, okay.
So you want to let it dry, but the mold will actually go away if it molds anyway.
Okay.
It won't stay. But you can leave it outside and let it dry.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And we'll go over all of that stuff.
I'll just be patient because I know this is a step-by-step process.
And then we're going to go over everything. Eventually, we're going to go over everything you need for the shrine from head to toe.
Okay.
Every item you will need. You can collect all those items either in nature or run to the store and get it.
So, Chief, I have a question just for clarity.
Yes.
When we're actually, we've invoked our ancestors and we're asking them to show us that. And at that time is when we kind of make this deal and say, if you show me,
yeah,
I'm going to do it then. Okay. And then the other thing is pouring it by the door. I'm in a complex, so I'm going to pour it on cement. Am I supposed to pour it into earth?
You can pour it. You can pour it on the cement. That's fine.
I have my whole front of my house smelling like liquor.
Just pour a little corner.
Okay. Thanks.
All right.
She's clowning now.
Now my neighbors gonna be like, "Ooh, what is going on over there?"
Yeah, they will be.
He said, "Stay away."
Mm-hmm. Okay. So everybody has their assignment. So I'm going to download the video, and I'm going to post a link to the video for now, because the app that normally holds the videos, no milk. It's the app that actually holds the videos. Girl, you getting way ahead of everybody. We're going to get to that milk. The app that holds the app that we put the videos in isn't working right now, so that's going to be worked on. So as soon as that's up and running, then we'll be able to access the videos the way we did in the last class. So I'm going to download the video, and then I'm going to post it. Has everybody been moved over to ACR2? No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I will. Was there a link posted in there? No. Was there a link posted in ACR1?
Yeah. Yes, there is a link.
Okay, so if you haven't clicked the link and requested to be in ACR2, do that tonight. And so I think everyone here that I know of have either paid or we've already worked something out. And so make sure you click on that link. It's in the ACR1 group. You may have to scroll down a little bit to find it, because I'm going to go through, and by tomorrow, everybody will be in ACR2.
Oh, okay.
And that's where we're going to move everybody there, take you out of ACR1, put you in ACR2, and that's where I'm going to post the video.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that works.
You have to put a phone number in, right?
Say that one more time.
You have to put a phone number in?
No. Just click the link that points to ACR2. There should, I think you're going to put one in there. When you click that link, not the registration link, there's a link that will send you to the group. It's called ACR2 Shrine. That's the name of the group.
Okay.
Was that posted?
I didn't see that. I only saw the registration.
Okay, I'll post that in there right now then. I'll do that. I'll do that. And then just request to join that group, and I will click you in it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Righty.
All righty.
Chief, I have two quick questions for you. After we do, are we pouring gin every night or just at the end of the 7th day?
All right, I want somebody to answer that question. No, I'm serious, because these are things that we did
show us
several times in part one. Yep. So I'm not, those questions I'm not going to answer. I'm going to let.
Okay, well, I can go back to my notes. I'm just kind of disheveled right now because I was on my messenger. I have the name of the queen that made her transition. Her name is Kathleen, Kathleen, Derrico, Derrico.
Okay. And then I want you to post that name in the ACR2 Shrine group as soon as you get in that group, so that everybody clear about that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. I just have to get my other notebook from class 1. And speaking of class 1, my 10th day for my shells, my issue that I have with my shells, on the 28th is my day that I take them off.
28th of January?
Yes.
Okay, get with your Kareem about that and make sure.
Yes, I remember. That's why I'm having. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, somebody answer that liquor question.
Oh, I have it in my notes. I
That's
just don't
not
have my.
Somebody else asking about it. Somebody answer that liquor question.
Oh.
It cannot be a Kareem.
You said
Is it once we get
Kareem,
results? Is it that we pour that kind of like to say thank you for once they've given us some kind of results, or we've seen something, or they've answered whatever we've asked them for?
Absolutely, that's it.
Okay.
And if they don't answer your question, what you gonna do?
Don't
Not
give them
give
liquor.
anything.
You do it again the next night.
Exactly. You just be like, well, I guess you're gonna be parched tonight.
Hey, cuss and spit.
Exactly. So yeah. So Shakira, what's your second question? Oh yes, and everybody has. So you have the same Kareems. So everybody has the same Kareem. Just so you know.
Chief?
Yes.
So even though we're moving into ARC 2, do we still have access to ARC 1 if we needed to at some, just, I don't know, whatever?
Nah, there's a whole nother group waiting to get in. Into ACR 1. And after you finish ARC 2, then everyone will move into a final group, which is called Beyond ACR or Beyond ARC. And so in that group, that's where when you're doing the work, you have questions, all those questions will be answered in that group. So if you're like, oh, my nephew chews tobacco, I don't know, something like that. And what do I need to do to get him to stop? How do I petition my ancestors? Boom. The question to be answered. Oh, you know what? Blah, blah, blah happened. How do I resolve this issue using my shrine? Boom. Give you the ritual for that. And so whatever ritual the Kareems can't give you, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. So that's what that group is more of a support group to help you along, once you've gotten done, because at the end of the day, you need to know how to work a shrine just as well as I do. You need to be able to hear from your ancestors just as clear as I hear from mine.
Mm-hmm.
And not second guess yourself.
Right.
Did they say a red candle or a green candle? I like green though. None of that. You'll be like, they said red.
Mm-hmm.
And be clear about, but dang, they said red, but her favorite color is actual purple. Don't matter. They said red. You'll be clear.
Chief, so once we close out number 1, are we not able to have access to either the class notes or, like, I've never gotten my class for Mami Wata? Remember, I was working that Sunday and Monday, and I don't have that.
You don't have that? Okay, don't worry about it. I'll get it to you.
Oh, okay. But close out class 1.
We're going to close out class 1. I'm going to send you, this is what I'm going to do. And you all need to save these links. You're going to get a link to there's going to be one link to all of the class videos from every week. You're going to get
for class 1.
From class 1, yes.
Okay. Video, which includes the class as well as our guest speakers?
All of it.
Okay.
Everything from ACR 1.
Yeah.
Well, let me back up.
Oh.
If you didn't pay for any of those, you don't have access.
Right.
Yeah, that's going to be separate. If you didn't register for the videos from when the elders came, you won't have access to those.
Okay.
So that actually, I need to put those. I just said that I was going to put it all in one group, but everybody didn't register for those. So
Okay.
only the ones you register for, I'm gonna have to put those in another group and then send that to the people who actually register for those classes.
Well,
Okay.
you got the list, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I know who been naughty and nice.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I keep my eye on y'all. I don't say nothing all the time. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I was like, it ain't worth me saying nothing about that. So yeah. What was I gonna say? So you keep all your Kareems. Oh, and you're gonna have access to the notes. So you'll get a link. It'll be to Google. What's that thing called? Google Docs. I think that's what it's called. Google Drive, whatever. And so I'm gonna drop that link also. And so you'll have access to all of those notes as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so that stuff should be up forever.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And put the link in a safe place.
That's a whole other thing.
You might even have to like email it to yourself or something, or save it in a draft. But keep it in a safe place so you always have it. I need ASAP too. Among water as well. Okay. All right. All right, so that's that. That is that.
The next ritual.
Next ritual for what?
Oh. The monthly ritual. I mean, the ritual we used to have. Will we have one anytime soon?
You know, the church.
The Atlanta group, right?
Circle.
February 10th.
You look like a deer in headlights.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
In the dining hall at the shrine.
Oh, that. Okay. I'm like, my mind is on class. Like, we have.
Sorry about that.
Am I losing my mind? That's what I'm thinking.
No, you're not.
Okay. When's the date, Taribu? You said the 10th? They said the 10th of February. So, okay. All right. That's all I got, good people. That is it. So everybody have a good night.
All right.
And I will download this video, post it, post the link to the ACR2 group, and then start moving people over into that group.
Cool.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
Everybody.
Have a good week.
Love you all.